Welcome back. Today on Dialed In DIY, we're pulling an old fog machine out of retirement and getting it ready for the main event. It's always a good idea to check your equipment before you want to use it, and mine had an obvious problem that was actually pretty easy to fix. The first step in looking at this is figuring out what to do with this old hose that pulled the fog juice into the fog machine, because it was trashed. Since there's not exactly a fog machine repair store on every corner, do what I did. Take a run to an automotive supply store and pick up one of these 3mm hard emission supply lines. As is often the case, there's a couple of warnings that probably don't need to be said, but I'll say them anyway. Make sure the fogger's been unplugged for a while and has had plenty of time to cool down before you start taking it apart and messing with it. Once inside, what you're going to find is that supply line runs to one end of a pump, and you're going to have to go ahead and remove all of the little zip ties and everything else that's keeping that old supply line attached to the pump. Even though this tube is the exact same size in diameter as the one that was removed, it is not going to fit onto the pump without a little bit of modification. All I'm doing is applying a little bit of heat to the end of the tubing. Be careful not to melt the tubing, and then I'm just going to slide it over a nail and let it stretch out a little bit. Once you've got that back on the pump, what you do want to make sure to do is replace all of the zip ties that you had previously removed, especially that one that went around the tube and that little hose barb that was coming out of the end of the pump. With the replacement hose attached, I was eager to get this thing outside and fired up for a test run. Unfortunately, replacing the hose wasn't the only thing I was going to need to do to get this operating like it used to do, so I'm grabbing some vinegar and distilled water and making a 50-50 combination and loading up the tank and running through a few cycles. As I expected, this mixture helped to break down any extra deposits that were clogging up some lines and got it running free and clear again. If you're still not running like normal, here's a couple of extra quick cleanup tips you can try out to get the most out of your fog machine. Hey, thank you for taking the time to stop by Dialed In DIY today. To check out my video on how I got my fog machine back up and running for the next big celebration. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least got a little something out of this video, and if you did, please let me know by clicking that thumbs up below. While you're here, I'd also love it if you'd subscribe to my channel, ring that bell so you'll get notifications of future videos, and make sure to come on back in the future because there will be plenty more Dialed In DIY to come.